What's up, guys? Hey, so wanted to go over a few things on the STI. Hasn't really been featured too much in YouTube, I guess. There's one little video up there of just some little shots playing around with my gimbal, but otherwise no real cool videos or anything like that. So I figured I'd go ahead and run over the car just kind of quick and give the history of it since I've owned it, and kind of go from there. So just going from back to front, basically you can see got the new Sabon trunk here, carbon fiber, really cool piece. Definitely one of the more expensive body parts I've ever bought for a car. But really cool, really impressed with how it fit. It's definitely worth it to pay a little extra, and fitment is definitely key here. So definitely highly recommended piece there. So we got the NVIDIA N1 Race cat back. It's NVIDIA all the way up to the turbo, catless downpipe, catless uppipe, everything like that. But a really cool piece. It's got the burnt tip. It's pretty loud. I like it. We'll maybe be doing some cool stuff with it in the future. Maybe go custom 3-inch instead. But otherwise, pretty basic in the back. LEDs and the taillight, stuff like that. Now getting down to nuts and bolts, I'm sure you guys are gonna slay me for having the XXR knockoff wheels. But to be honest, for the money and figuring out how everything would fit with the wide body, I'm actually really impressed with these wheels. They've held up with my skinny little 295/30s on it. Haven't been a single wheel yet, so I'm pretty impressed from there, no issues. I do have the ARP extended studs in there, so those are really nice. Definitely a nice add-on, recommended for sure. From there, obviously the wide body. So this is something I've been working on a lot lately, trying to make them fit good, everything like that. Unfortunately, this kit that I have, it is more of like an eBay type kit. It came from overseas, so as you can see, fitment, stuff like that, it's not perfect by a long shot. But from there, with a little tender loving care, it'll fit pretty good once you work it in. But definitely still have some room to go there. Maybe eventually mold those in. So some cool stuff coming there. Keep an eye out. Otherwise, Brembos are typical on the STI. Got the Visual Auto Works events. I got a great deal on those from those guys, so shout out to them. I love these things. Definitely wouldn't roll around without them. From there, you got your typical eBay side skirt extension, but honestly, those have been really cool. Really happy with how those turned out. For the money, they're little things that make a big difference. Definitely want to eventually make them my own, and again, make them fit a little better, make them fit my car as best as they can. Again, with the front flare, I have done a ton of work to these to make them fit right. Certain parts definitely weren't meant for the car. This wasn't even lining up. This little end piece came off and was just sitting off the car. But for $500 fiberglass flares, I guess that's what you get for your money. I just like the little relief in them. I thought that was kind of cool, a little different from the Carlton flares, so I was kind of a fan of those. I wanted to make them work, so if they bolt on, cool, but if you have to make them work, I'm definitely down for that. I love a challenge. Again, XXRs. As far as tires go, tires are Sumitomo HTR Z3s, I believe. 295/30 18. Good little tires, not too bad. I don't drive this car in the winter, but I do drive it a lot to work, and so I do encounter a lot of rain. So a race tire right now just doesn't make sense. Again, eBay front lip there, works okay, fits good. A lot of people ask me about my headlights. They are one-off. I have a good friend of mine named Francis Field. He owns Dynamic Illusions. He does headlights, and from there he helped me a lot with mine. So I've got a nice high quality projector in there, which is super bright. And then I actually did kind of a cool little different option. I did an LED fog. It's like a pod light. So these are pretty cool. So I had the high beam on the the projector as well as on the pod and the fog light. So super bright, really nice at nighttime. But these were pretty fun. I love doing little projects like this to kind of test myself. This is my first pair of headlights I ever did by myself, so not too bad. Pretty happy with how they turned out. They also had the demon eye and all that fun little stuff. I'm not really a fan of it, but hey, it works. And then the famous front brace. A lot of people argue it doesn't do anything, but a lot of this car is, again, unibody. Have to make sure everything's structurally sound. So a buddy of mine out in California made this. He makes them for pretty much most Subarus, available at a very good price. And from there, like I said, it's super nice piece, bolts right on, and then obviously it looks awesome. Interior wise, really not a whole lot going on. Car is basically stock. Inside, stock shifter, everything like that, stock seats. Interior definitely needs some love. Super old school Kenwood radio from the original owner, but you know, not bad. Windows are tinted, windshield gets me in trouble, but it's okay. It's a labor of love. If I get in trouble for it, then so be it. Under the hood, got a few more things. The gimbal catch up with me here. Nothing big, but pretty much stock. The Moroso, coolant overflow, basic stuff, K&N filter. The big thing on these cars is obviously we have an oiling problem on the EJ257, especially. So the oil evap is super important. I have the race competition option from IAG. Really a big fan of IAG. They do a ton of great stuff. From there, Koyo radiator. Since I blew my stock one out last year when I was driving over the winter. Pretty common issue. Mishimoto upper and lower hoses for that. From there, basic Cobb boost controller, stuff like that. It was tuned by Boost Control Performance in Livonia, Michigan. Great guys, know them very well from the very start. From there, I also had, unfortunately, when I bought the car, about 200 miles after I bought the car, I had, while it was warming up in my driveway, it was actually just sitting there. I was inside, came back outside, and it was shut off. It wouldn't start on me at all, and no knocking, anything like that. So it was kind of interesting, but figured out that I actually had timing belt was never done. I had 120,000 miles, and from there I had idler pulley on the timing belt actually seize up and caused it to jump timing, which since it was only at about 900 RPMs, it only bent one or two valves just slightly, so it didn't do a ton of damage. So I actually had them resurface the heads and rebuilt the heads, got me new valves, everything like that. And it is still the stock bottom end on this thing. They didn't touch it. So they're running strong. About 10,000 miles later. I don't beat on it. I baby it a ton. Eventually, I'd like to plan to make maybe like roughly double the power that it's making now to still be able to drive it a lot. So, but otherwise, pretty much stock, guys. Not a whole lot going on here, but definitely tons of plans. Little T and hydraulic supports for the hood. Those are kind of nice. It's always nice to get rid of the factory hood prop. And forgot to mention too, guys at Downstar, they do some awesome work. They make some really great hardware, put together a great kit. So if you've got a wide body setup that you're trying to do, definitely hit up Downstar. They got some great stuff for you. Otherwise, like I said, car is pretty much stock. You know, some basic coilovers on there. So from there, when I bought the car, it's completely stock. So as you see it now, is everything has been done by myself, and not the best of conditions. So I'm pretty happy that it's gotten this far, and there's a ton of stuff planned for it. So So yeah, guys, in future videos, I'm going to be covering kind of my plans and what I'd like to do. As I've mentioned before, and my other videos, is that realistically, I do have a lot of hobbies, and my Subaru is only one of them. So I have to allocate my time and money accordingly to make sure I can do everything I want to do. And I also have a wonderful girlfriend at home that puts up with all of it too. So I definitely have to make sure I keep her happy. But obviously, the more that you guys start to watch and show interest, I'm definitely going to react to that and start creating more content, and specifically with what you guys want to see. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you click below, like, subscribe, share, do what you got to do. Let's get this thing kicked off and start making some cool content. See you guys later.